People of Ghana, it's your Nigerian get pleasure bringing you political news in our channel Ghanatube. A lot has really been happening in Ghana and so many people have come out to address it. Please watch.
In favor of their candidates and should remain as such. The NPP, on the other hand, says the EC must complete the process. Let's speak to Lord Edwasara, correspondent who was in court and has joined us for the latest regarding this. Lord, thank you so much for joining us. Happy New Year to you. To start with, tell us a bit more about the ruling on the preliminary objection.
Happy New Year to you too, Martin, and our audience. Now, basically, you recall that yesterday we had the preliminary objections raised by the NDC led by Ediji Tamaklo, and then the NPP's Big Council, Darren Macron, highlighted the fact that their case was not a petition, an election petition disguised as a mandamus application as was described by the NDC. Now, in his ruling, Justice Ba Fortin Ejapon agreed with the NPP, indicating that because as it were, the result from the four constituencies, that is Ablekuma North, Tema Central, Teshiman South, and Okankwe Central, have not yet been gazetted by the Electoral Commission to Parliament. It so means that that has not officially been declared yet. And also added that the NPP's suit, which is the judicial review, to invoke the Electoral Commission to, as it were, perform their constitutional duty, it was right, or in the right sense for them to do so, because they are not challenging the decision or the result that the NDC say has already been done. So he actually indicated that for the four constituencies, the NPP's suit is seeking for them to complete the collation and then declare the result. And so it cannot be the case that they can describe it as an election petition disguised as another suit. And so that's the reasoning behind him dismissing or overruling the NDC's objection to this, the NPP's suit.
Right. So Lord, maybe for purposes of those who may not know which constituencies we are talking about, just mention them for us. And are they different from the four that the Supreme Court said that were null and void, although they had been recollated and redeclared? Is it the same constituencies?
Right, so let's do a bit of a background here. Now, initially, the High Court, this General Justice 13, presided over by Justice Osa Jiman, ruled in favor of the NPP granting their mandamus application. Now, their mandamus essentially was that they were asking the court to, as it were, compel the Electoral Commission to collate and declare the results of Ablekuma North, Tema Central, Teshiman South, and then Okankwe Central. Now, he heard and granted their application without hearing the side of the NDC, because the NDC had not been made party to that suit. So they sent the case to the Supreme Court, and then the Apex Court said that it was not right for the High Court to not hear the side of the NDC and then rule in favor of the NPP. So it quashed the High Court's ruling and then asked for that hearing, the mandamus application, to be heard all over again. And so it was given to a different court presided over by Justice Ba Fortin Ejapon, and that's why we were in court yesterday. Now, the NDC led by Ediji Tamaklo moved their preliminary objection to that application filed by the NPP to compel the Electoral Commission to, as it were, collate and then declare the results of the consensus, the four consensus that I mentioned earlier on. Now, in his ruling today, like we explained earlier, the High Court indicated that yes, it was right. The approach used by the NPP was right because their suit was not challenging the result of those four aforementioned constituencies. What they were doing was that they were invoking the jurisdiction of the court to force or to compel, I should say, the Electoral Commission to complete the collation and declaration of those four constituencies. Now, they mentioned that the declaration of these results were done under duress. Okay, the returning officers of the Electoral Commission were forced to, as it were, declare the results, and in some cases, some of them, the because the polling centers, they hadn't finished collating the results of all the other polling centers, they forced the returning officer to declare the results, and that's why they came to court. And so the High Court noted that yes, this is right because indeed all the results had been collated, and this is not to challenge the results. We can't say there's a challenge of results when the EC has not fully or gazetted the total results and sent it to Parliament to it. And so this is the background behind which the High Court made a decision. So once this application was overruled, the substantive case, which was the suit by the NPP, was now being heard. So even before I left the courtroom, the Diane Macron made the argument that, for example, the case that they were on was Tema Central. They started Tema Central before they'll go to the other constituencies. So for Tema Central, I indicated that the returning officer was forced to declare the results, and that there was an outstanding polling center which the results weren't collated. And so he actually moved for a number of videos, I should say, to be played in court. So after the time that I was leaving, these videos were being played in court, showing how the declaration of the results in Tema Central, which made Ibi Bright the winner, was done. Martin.
All right, thank you. That would have actually been my last question about the substantive case and how it was going, but you just indicated that the hearing of those substantive cases has begun and that they're starting from Tema Central. Okay, so we'll definitely be coming back to you, or definitely in subsequent bulletins we'll update our viewers on how it's going. You may have to go back to court to follow the proceedings. Thank you very much. Lord Idwasare is our man in court for us, following the case of the order of mandamus that was sent to court by the NPP. So if you're just joining us, the application the NDC sent to court has been dismissed summarily, and the hearing of the substantive case has just begun. We'll update you subsequently. You can also follow our socials and you get to know what exactly it is. But in case you are unaware of what exactly it is, let me walk you through some of the key constituencies that have come up for conversation and what the key concerns have been. And he mentioned 4. They are, we'll take you through the 4, but let's start with the one we have here now, which is the Okaikwe Central constituency. The NDC candidate was declared winner after the counting was done originally. The EC actually set aside that declaration. The court ordered the Electoral Commission to complete the process of recollation and redeclaration. Now, the EC recollated and declared the NPP candidate as a winner. So that's actually the bone of contention. First, NDC won. Now the EC says NPP has won. Then the issue had to go to the Supreme Court for proper clarity. The Supreme Court also then set aside a High Court order that told the EC to go to court, I beg your pardon, that told the EC to go and undertake the recollation and redeclaration. So the Supreme Court set it aside. And it was the Supreme Court that asked that a new High Court judge and a new court be set up to follow or engage the key stakeholders in hearing the case. So that's what is ongoing. Started on the 31st, that was yesterday, and it is ongoing today. So we'll definitely be updating you on how it plays out. And the next constituency, I beg your pardon, is he also mentioned Tema Central, and there are similarities in the issues that have played out in all 4. So in the Tema Central, for instance, okay, so let me talk you through Ablekuma North. So for Ablekuma North, again, the NDC candidate was declared the winner. The Electoral Commission said that their officers were forced to declare the NDC as winners, and so there were issues of they complaining of duress and threats. That is how come they declared the NDC winner. Well, the issue went to court, a High Court, which ordered the Electoral Commission to now go and actually recollate and redeclare, go through the entire process again. The EC could not complete the process due to destroyed pink sheets. So that is the difference, specific difference for Ablekuma North. Pink sheets were destroyed, and that forced the EC to say they could not complete the process. And again, when the Supreme Court was given its position on Ablekuma North, it also set it aside and asked that the Electoral Commission, the NDC, and the NPP go to a different High Court under the leadership of a new judge, so they go through the entire process again. Techiman South was also mentioned, is one of the 4. For Techiman South, the coalition was scuttled by by party supporters at the constituency level. The EC at the moment declared the the NPP candidate as winner, and the Supreme Court again, based on the fact that the Supreme Court thought not all the due process was followed, also set aside the Techiman South declaration. Again, it is one of the 4 that is being heard currently.